Okay, it's time to do my favourite style of video. That is, we're going to take a look at the rubbish piles and the council pickup time in winter 2016 in the part of Sydney where I live. This time we're going to turn the heat up and we're going to focus on microwave ovens. I often see microwave ovens on the rubbish piles. Barbecues, office chairs, microwave ovens are another scourge of these rubbish piles, and this time around we're going to come in and focus on the date of things if we can. All too often the dates are sort of hidden away in serial numbers and basically not there. And you've got to ask yourself, well, why can't we clearly see a date of manufacture on something when we buy things? I think this has to be there because when we have used something and it's died, well, it's always nice to think, well, did we get 2 years service? Did we get 4 years service? Or did we get something like 20 something years service out of something? Anyway, I wonder what I'm going to find in this video. I'm hoping to find a Dyson vacuum cleaner because that's something I'm always looking out for. Rarely do I see them. And also Apple computers. Rarely do I ever see an Apple computer on a rubbish pile. Okay, let's do it. Oh my goodness me. Is that what I think it is? Yes! 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 Actually that looks like a wasp. I just hope that's not 2014. Yeah, this barbecue, it doesn't look too old. Yeah, I sort of wish Little Tykes made real cars for humans. They'd be pretty awesome cars. Actually, Toothless is so excited to be saved, he's having a bit of a spew. Now, you don't often see that on a toy train ride-on. That's the serial numbers, model number, blah, blah, blah. Whether you can work anything out from that. But most importantly, look at that. Made in Japan and not China. Okay, guess what's on screen? It is a microwave. It's a sharp carousel. I'd say this one's had a fair bit of use. And I'm deducting that like Sherlock Holmes because I can see the numbers here have been used. All the plastic on the start thing has started to come off. Someone has cut the electrical cable, and also someone has come in and stolen whatever they steal from in there, which is very common. I'll crack it open, let's find out where this one was made. There is the vital information. I don't know if I can tell a year from that, but I can see it says made in Thailand. Yeah, so with the made in Thailand ones, what happened before they all became made in China? I wonder if my audience would know that one. It's hard to tell the age of this one. It is a bit discoloured here, like my mum's one. But I think what I'm telling the age by is this panel here and the way it's been worn out. Office chairs, barbecues, but I think blow or vax is another very common thing I see on the rubbish piles. This beautiful unit here, GMC, they're no longer sold in Australia. They may still be sold in the USA. They used to be sold through Bunnings from memory. I sort of miss GMC. Some of their stuff was pretty good, some of it was sub. Let me just see what date's on that. Now, I'm not sure if that's going to help us or not. I don't think there's a year on that. That's one of those units that doesn't look like it's done that much work, but how do you know? But in a funny way, these are being superseded by the battery powered ones. This is one that was mains powered, and in a funny way, that's a little bit old fashioned. Microwave ovens on the rubbish pile. This one's a sharp carousel inverter series. I don't know how old it is. I've tried to look for a date, but it has been opened up already, and people come in and they nick something from inside of there. Sorry about that. There's a bit of time, wasn't it? Somebody comes through and they take out whatever is in there. I dare say it's for scrap value, but nearly every time someone gets to these machines before I get to look at them on the rubbish piles. Okay, it's the same rubbish pile as that microwave. This is a Singer, as in brand name Singer, iron. It's still got its power cord. The electrical copper thieves haven't got to this one yet. It doesn't look that used. And under here is a date thing. I wonder how old it is. Now, there might be a bit of a code down the bottom there and a serial number. Maybe my audience is clever enough to work it out, but I can't see a year on that one. Oh yes, another rubbish pile. This one is an electric lawnmower, and that is another thing that I often see on the rubbish piles. I've got a hunch these things aren't that crash hot. This is underneath this beautiful unit here. I don't think those blades would have delivered much punch. Maybe my audience knows about these. I'd be quite honest here, I would steer clear of anything like this, and this thing looks like it's already had a wheel fall off. I just wonder where they put the date of this thing. Well, let me just clear this a bit, and that is some details about this. Mind you, I can't see a date. Isn't that funny? Yes, I think a Zito was something you saw through Bunnings, and if you're wondering the power of this thing, it was a mighty 1000 watts. Well, there's an office chair. Fancy that. Oh yes, just another pile of unassuming rubbish. Hey, whoa, hey. There is a Lightning McQueen there. There is a fire truck, mind you, it's a very El Cheapo fire truck. Oh, we can't let McQueen go to the dump, can we? Wow, I'm pretty sure it's a real McCoy one. Doesn't look like a knockoff, mind you. The knockoffs look almost exactly the same. And down there is like a mystery tub of, wow, another fire engine, bit of a dump truck there. Oh yeah, is it Dickie Toys, that one? When I look at the wheels like that, sometimes it indicates it's Dickie. Oh, hang on a second. Oh, whoa! Oh, Percy! I've just saved Percy from the scrap heap. Now I'm finding Percy down there. I wonder what else is hiding here. Oh, yeah! Toy gold, isn't that Mac from Cars? Jeez, I hope I'm right. That's really testing me. Oh, what is? Oh, he's a bit banged around. Look at that there on the front there. Hey, he's had some love. I don't mind it when they've had love. That's Mac. He's probably better off going to the rubbish pile. But hold on, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, there's still more magic down here to be found. Maybe some redback spiders. Toothless? Can you believe that? It's a little Toothless. That's a keeper. There's also this here. Okay, in diminishing light. Sorry about the diminishing light. I don't know what that is, but it can stay here. Oh wow, look at that. What you find is quite amazing. That's a keeper. That is a keeper. That's a Thomas & Friends Trackmaster whatever. Okay, a funnel. Oh, hang on, I can't believe this. Probably a funnel rib down there. It's an Octonaut. You guys know the name of that guy? Cool bananas. That might be a keeper as well. Quite amazing. What started off not to be that interesting looking ended up getting a McQueen, Percy, one of the Octonauts, some Thomas Trackmaster, and Toothless. Thank goodness I remembered his name. Actually, Toothless is so excited to be saved, he's having a bit of a spew. There you go. He's actually a bath time squirter, Toothless. Yay! Okay, yeah, another microwave. It's a sharp carousel when black was in vogue. It's funny, the colours tend to change. And I'm not at all surprised, but someone has come in and grabbed whatever they grab out of these things. Whoever is doing this is really fast, okay? Because rarely do I see these without the special bits taken out. And I remember asking, I think in another video, what was being taken out, and I've actually forgotten the part that people scavenge. Maybe you can remind me. Okay, this is the Makita angle grinder. It's a made in China Makita. When I was younger, much younger, all this stuff used to be made in Japan. Let's take a closer look at this plate here. Okay, well, hopefully somewhere on there will reveal a date. I don't know if I'm seeing it. Maybe my audience can reveal that one to me. It'll be hidden away in the numbers there somewhere. I just had a sniff of this one. It doesn't sniff that good in the sense that it smells a bit burnt out, and it looks like it is. They've tried to repair this as well. Yeah, I've actually, well, I'm not a big fan of the made in China Makita. Maybe you've got something to say about that. Well, just another pile of rubbish, some office chairs, two of them in fact, a bit of a vacuum cleaner, but surprise, surprise, but really no surprise, a barbecue. Sorry for the background noise. This is a Sunbeam barbecue. I never knew Sunbeam did barbecues. And as always, down the side here is where the tragedy seems to begin. Quite a fancy barbecue. It also had this attachment as well, so you can have a little stove on the side. There you go. I'm trying to establish how old this is or how young it is. Normally there's a date on the regulator, but I can't see it on this one. Quite nice stainless steel. I hope it's stainless. Maybe that down there will tell us a date. Okay, I'm not sure if that's going to help us. Look where it says date of manufacture. It's actually completely blank. Now I see this a lot these days. Where it says date of manufacture, there's nothing. So is this a conspiracy theory? Do they strip out the date of manufacture to cover for the fact that maybe this barbecue isn't going to last that long. Maybe you know this Sunbeam barbecue. Maybe my audience is the best person to tell me how old that barbecue is. Oh, these little steam mops. I could almost do a special feature just showing these. Very, very common to see these on the rubbish piles. We've never had one in our place. Dare say my audience will talk about them. Let's take a look at if we can see a date. There's info there, made in the People's Republic of China. I'm not surprised. 800 watt. Oh, I can't see a date there. Maybe it's hidden in the serial number. Yeah, sometimes they hide dates in those numbers there. Ooh, another beautiful pile of rubbish here, and I'm always going to be interested when I see something like a Tonka truck. This is the plastic fantastic era. The era to get was the all metal. I think the 70s had the good stuff. It's missing the back thing there, okay, on this tipper truck. Although it doesn't, I mean, it's been sun affected, but there's not too much rust on this, so that's sort of telling me that maybe this one's not that old. You'd be amazed at what you find sometimes. Oh, hey, hello little Petty. The luck of the Irish, the luck of the Irish. Oh, did you know that Barbie had like a tour bus? Looks like sadly this one has crashed and rolled. Okay, quite an impressive toy. I sort of asked myself, do we still see the big Barbie toys like this these days? And that's been 2016. Look at that, she could watch TV inside there. There's a bit more of the gubbins there. At least she had a seatbelt, but mind you, I don't think that saved her. But what is sort of more interesting than Barbie's amazing van there, which it's even got a toilet. Okay, thank goodness Barbie had somewhere to poop. Is this here, and it's not often do I see these. It's a Miele vacuum cleaner. That's what this one is. It's a Miele Baby Care 4000. Miele make excellent vacuum cleaners. Rarely do I see them on the pickups. Bit like as rare as Dyson's, maybe even more so, I think. I think this is only the second Miele that I've seen. Miele had a bag system, and that is absolutely chock-a-block. I'd hate to think what's in there. And maybe we'll see a date or something up there somewhere. Well, no, I think that's just customer care info, and good companies like this have great customer care. Maybe the trick is to look underneath, silly Leo, to find some more info. Oh, there it is there. Okay, there's info there. One thing that is sticking out to me, it says made in Germany. This is not made in China. Oh yeah, dust is good. Made in Germany, I like it. German engineering, very good. But is there a date there somewhere? Are the serial numbers there going to reveal to us a date when this was made? Yes, it's only the second Miele I've seen in the many times that I've studied the rubbish piles. I don't think there's any problems with the brand at all. And one thing you can just tell, just squeeze the hose, you can feel the quality just in the hose and the way the fittings are done. I mean, to me, that's what it's all about. Okay, I've got a bit of an Aldi double whammy going on there, but I've also got, surprise, 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 there is a barbecue there, and I think there's a date on that one. I wonder how old it is. It's a Cooler Bar brand barbecue. Okay, there it is there, Cooler Bar 6 burner hooded. It's got 2010. So it's basically 6 years old. It's all dismantled and everything. The base part of it seems to be in, well, relatively good condition. But where these barbecues fail, and I see it all the time, is the burners here. The burners here basically burn out. And I've had arguments with people explain to me, well, Leo, you can go and buy the burners. But what I've found is that people just tend to basically throw out the barbecues. Oh yes, we love a bit of Aldi goodness in the morning, don't we? I'm making this video in the morning, although you wouldn't know. I haven't seen this style. I feel like I haven't seen that style in a couple of years, but I will try and work out its date. I did notice that it had the warranty thing there. They've always got a 1-year warranty, but underneath may reveal the date or it may not. Well, there's the info there. Twin bagless cyclonic blah blah. I can see 06/12. Now, is that 2012? I wonder. Often it's hard to exactly know when these machines were made and how long they were in shop for, but I'm sure my audience will fill out the details for me. And that there is actually the garbage truck that picks up this garbage. I'm just running ahead of them at the moment. Oh yeah, have you ever been tempted by one of these? It's one of the Aldi Lumina signature bread makers. And I think this one's actually got a message in here for me. What's this? I still work bread maker. Okay, the instructions are here. One wonders why it was put out, although it hasn't looked like it's had much use, but then again it just makes bread. Yes, let me have a look underneath here. It may reveal something you need to know. Well, there's the important info there. I'm not sure if that's going to tell us a date or not. Oh yes, there it is there, 2013, I can see it at the top there. So there you go, this beautiful Lumina Signature Series bread maker. It's only 3 years old, it's out in the rubbish pile. It has no electrical cabling, so basically it's, well, rubbish. Oh yeah, just reminding me, this is another very, very common thing I see on the rubbish piles. Basically workout gear, and this one's got a nice little sign here, there we are. Complete workout bench with arm pulley and leg press. So that's a nice thought. These people have tried to basically have this stuff recycled and no one's picked that one up there. They had a sign on the bread maker there and we can see nobody's picked it up there apart from someone stolen electrical cabling. Got a funny feeling the Aldi vacuum cleaners had the Richard, and I've got a funny feeling that, well, obviously the barbecue there has seen much better days. Ooh, it's so pretty, isn't it? So pretty, but there's one thing I want to look at here, and that is that item right in the middle of the screen there. It's one of them fancy Tonka trucks. Ooh, this one's had a beautiful purple and gold glitter custom paint job. Mind you, that didn't stop the rust from popping through. And I think that's what I often see with the, what I call the new generation of Tonka toys. They just tend to rust out far too quickly. Let me just open it up. Oh, it's a bit frozen there. That's what I often see, rust bubbling through in those parts and areas there. It never used to be like that, you know. There used to be a time we used to pass these on down through the generations, but I can tell you that doesn't happen anymore. Toy companies win. Okay, here is something a little bit unusual, and I'm only looking at it because it's made in England. It's actually a Volta vacuum cleaner. It's the 505 model, and it says here high suction Volta with a maximum and a minimum. This actually reminds me like a clone of the Hoover vacuum cleaners that were around during the 70s, and I say that when I looked underneath there. It's just like my mum's old classic Hoover. Mind you, the Hoover had a loose bag on the back here, maybe even been from the 60s era, but that's what this is reminding me of. Well, that there's like a little compliance plate, and really the only thing I like to read there is made in England. I can't see the other numbers correctly. I don't know whether there's a date locked up in those numbers there. Again, maybe my audience will know. Well, I really think this is something from a bit of a bygone era. I don't think it's that new, although I may be corrected there. And obviously it's out in the rubbish pile. And just next to the Volta there, is that one of the little Muppet creatures? What was her name? I don't know, I know you guys will. Oh yes, another scourge of the rubbish pile. Children's toys like this, what you find out is children actually don't play with this for very long. But what is a bonus here, there is Wilson. It's actually a ride-on Wilson chugger. Oh yes, this Wilson ride-on's beautiful. It's got all the hallmarks that Chuggington do, and that is nice detailing. Really nice, but I think one of the nicest features when you steer it, look at the wheel set here. Look at that, it's a double bogey of wheels on the wheel set. Now you don't often see that on a toy train ride-on. You don't see it on the Thomas stuff, I tell you. Yes, it's a very nice ride-on toy, but what has happened to this one here, it is sun affected. If you thought that one was cool, there's actually something far, far cooler in a funny way down here, and I like looking at these next items. One of the most popular little cars on the planet. It's a little Tykes thing like that. Well, I just had a lovely chat to the owner of this little Tykes truck here, and then they said, well, this is a little problem with these bigger ones. They're actually a little bit heavy for younger children to use, and that's something I never even thought of until I got the mum's appraisal of that. I think that back bit, does it come down? Maybe it doesn't. Oh, silly Leo, look at that. Okay, fully featured. I love the little Tykes toys. These are not cheap toys in Australia. And what I think will happen with this one here is that there'll be another parent, mum or whatever, will see this out in the road. It's in pretty good nick, and they'll pick it up for themselves. Yeah, it would be nice if little Tykes made some real cars for humans. I reckon they'd pull off a pretty awesome car. And they also put out this never used pull. There was a bit of a story behind that, but as we can see in there, never been used. This is my Antiques Roadshow part of the video, and what we have here is a beautiful Angel lamp, isn't that absolutely stunning? And just beside the angel lamp are two clown bookends. Just proof that you can find just about everything on the rubbish pile. Oh, nice piece of art on the rubbish pile, but the piece of art I'm more interested in is this Kmart, it's homemaker brand microwave. I can't see any rust going on inside there. Mind you, it is missing the plate that spins around. That is the front area there. Looks like it's had a bit of use going by those buttons there. It's a curious one because the people haven't got into this to take out the part, which I believe resides on this side. It's still all sealed up. Let's see if there's a date there. Okay, that's the info on the back of the microwave. Is there a date jumping out at you guys there? And maybe that 34/11 is related to a date. I just don't know. Well, I think the number one thing I see in rubbish piles is office chairs like that. Maybe number two would be microwave ovens. Mind you, the barbecues might be number two and these might be number three. Yeah, I don't think it's that old, but again, my audience may know much more than me. Oh yeah, there's a bit of a white goods party going on here. We've got just about everything out of the laundry and the kitchen, including the microwave oven. This one here is a Panasonic inverter. It's very hard to tell how young or old these are because they don't change that much in style. Mind you, maybe seeing that there is an indicator to what we're dealing with. It's missing... It's weird. Did it ever have a thing inside there, or is it a different sort of style, this one? Never seen that before. Maybe the back will reveal a year on this thing. It hasn't been opened up, so the thing that gets normally stolen inside is still in there. Mind you, they have taken the electrical cable off. I don't think we're going to see that much from that there. Yeah, this microwave oven's in very good condition, very clean. It has me very curious about how old it is. I mean, how long or how old is a good age for a microwave? That's the big burning question, isn't it? I could have looked inside the door jamb to find out some more information about this microwave, but what I did was something very simple. I did a Google search of its name via the images, and then there were pictures of this microwave. That led me to PDFs of the instruction manual, and from what I can work out, it's a microwave oven from around about 2005, so that makes it around about 11 years old. Now, it may have been thrown out because they may have restyled their kitchen and put in a new microwave. This microwave may still work, but I think I can take you somewhere and show you an amazing microwave which is still in play, and it's much older than this one. Okay, time for the thinking part of this video. I'm going to cook something in what we've been featuring in this video, and that is microwave ovens. This is my mum's microwave oven that I purchased for her back in 1990. That was a long time ago, wasn't it? I just want to show you that this still works. Okay, sensory heat and start. And what I've got in there is basically getting fried. Let's take a look at some facts about this microwave. This video is produced in 2016. I purchased this microwave in 1990. So the age of the microwave is 26 years old. Back in 1990, my mum was 64. Back in 1990, I was 24 years old, and whatever I've got in there is ready to come out. Oh, okay, obviously don't come over to our place for something to eat, but I just wanted to prove to you that it still works. Okay, important numbers, 26 years of use and it's still going. I could have had this up at our place, but we bought an Aldi microwave at our place. It was a Panasonic, it was called the Genius, and I dare say you're asking, well, how much did that cost you, Leo, when you bought it for your mum? And normally my mum keeps everything from the past. Wow, way back, she bought a Sunbeam Mixmaster. That's now up at our place. There's the book down at my mum's place. This is the book, the Australian cookbook that came with this microwave oven, the Genius one by Panasonic. Okay, it's actually protected by copyright, so I can't show you too much of that. Let's say people are still making money from that. But there was also the operating instructions here. And my mum's written a few things down here because at mum's age, microwaving was a new thing. Okay, it wasn't new to me because I was a young person. I revelled in this machine, I loved it, and the funny thing is I can't find the receipt, and I think I know why. It's because I purchased it and not mum. I would have lost the receipt because it was a gift for mum. I think it was a gift for Christmas time in 1990. Okay, and there's also another very curious thing that I noticed on this down here. The instructions for this microwave are printed in Japan. So by seeing that, is that telling us that this Panasonic microwave was made in Japan? Well, maybe I better come in and see if it was. I think the place to look is inside the door jamb here. Let's take a look. Okay. I better grab the crispy critter. I might have a nibble on that. Looks yummy, doesn't it? Mmm. Okay, my camera's sideways. Hopefully the footage will not be sideways. That's the serial numbers, model number, blah, blah, blah. Whether you can work anything out from that. But most importantly, look at that. Made in Japan and not China or Thailand. So how much of being made in Japan has made this microwave a long-lasting microwave? The condition of the microwave, there are some aspects of it where it's showing its age. There's a bit of, I hope that's getting in focus there, that's better. Okay, there's a bit of gooby stuff going on at the back there. Along the door here, sorry for the rough shot video here, you can see there's some rust going on there. There'd be some people who would throw out this microwave because it started the rust there. These things rust because they get condensation and then any metal parts start to rust. The other curious aspect to this microwave is that it basically looks like a modern microwave. If you looked at the control panel there, it looks like microwaves of today, but what has happened is the plastic, this really does show the age, that plastic has started to change colour. Quite often you see that like on computers which were cream coloured, they'll turn to that colour there. I don't know what it's called when plastic does that, but that is a definite sign of the age. And there's a little sticker by Mum there, it says Christmas 1990. How nice, eh? Oh, the good old days. There's something else about this microwave that's different to the ones I've seen on the rubbish piles. This thing is actually quite heavy. It's quite a heavy unit, more so on this side. So this would be the side where that big thing inside there that people open up to get out is on this side. I've just been looking around. Sometimes Mum will scratch down somewhere the price of something because Mum was like that. Mum came from that generation of people that were quite frugal. Okay, what's that about sausages? How to cook sausages in my mum's handwriting? Oh, okay. Well, look at this thing. Not finding a price, but I'm seeing all sorts of things from the past. Continental savoury mince with nacho toppings. Hey, you ever eat stuff like that? I don't have anything like that for dinner anymore. I used to eat a lot of things like that. But bad old Leo. Oh, there we are. There we are. It's a 650 watt. We should get that out. I can't see a price anywhere. But I think from memory, and my memory isn't that crash hot these days, I think I paid up in the vicinity maybe $500. It may have been a little bit more, it may have been a little bit less. So if I did pay $500 for that, was it too much? Well, how long did this machine last for? That's what we're going to talk about. How long do machines of today last for? I don't know. How do you use this? What I used to do, my favourite thing was just this button here. To me, that did it all. You shouldn't talk about things in there, so I'll put my crispy critter back in there. Another go up. So I press sensor reheat, and I think that was what I used to do all the time. 26 years of service is still going. I don't care how much I pay for it. I just want to buy stuff today that lasts this long. And from what I can see, the bulk of the stuff, that made in China cheap and cheerful stuff, doesn't do it for me. Okay, oh yeah. Guess what? Well, just be thankful YouTube doesn't have smell-o-vision, because that there is starting to stink out the house. And again, that's why you don't come to our place for any cooking. Okay, made in Japan, 26 years old, 2016. I want more things like that. And I definitely want less things like that. Yes, Mum's place is full of things before everything was made in China. This was made in quite an unusual country. Bit of a surprise. That's the box in there. Do you know that one there? It's a Sunbeam product. Obviously it's still around, obviously it still works, although I don't know how much use it got, because the other Sunbeam Mix Master from the late 50s, early 60s was Mum's favourite. Underneath here is definitely information to where this was made. I wonder who in my audience could work out the country where this item was made. I'm really pleased. I came in and took a look at Mum's old microwave oven. It's strange to say old microwave oven, isn't it? 26 years old. I think the item in Mum's house that seemed to last nearly all my lifetime was Mum's old Kelvinator fridge. It's only been recently replaced. It lasted 40 years. I remember growing up with this fridge. It was made in Australia and it was like super heavy. Probably in some of my older videos, you would have seen it featured when I was doing stuff down at Mum's house. It was like this old square fridge. It's one of the first of the square fridges. And once again, where do you find appliances that last 40 years? Where do you find microwave ovens that are just going on forever? I don't think these sort of items appear these days, and I've got a funny feeling seeing made in Japan on Mum's microwave oven is part of the key to success of what's going on there. I wish we could go back to times like that. I really do. Here's a very curious double act. There's one here which doesn't surprise me at all. Cheap and cheerful vacuum cleaner. It's a made in China thing. I've looked under there already. It doesn't disclose much about that thing at all, apart from it being, well, something for rubbish fodder in a couple of years. But this one here is a bit more curious. It's a Nescafe Dolce Gusto. I hope I'm saying that right. Coffee maker. Do you know about those? I looked underneath here. It just says it was a DeLonghi product. But I couldn't work out any date from there, or maybe you can see it and I can't. Yeah, so that's going to be the next wave of things that I see on rubbish piles, like little coffee machines like that, which are all the rage now in homes. But I'm not at all surprised to see something like that on the rubbish pile. Well, one man's rubbish is another man's treasure, that's the saying, isn't it? And who knows, down there could be a whole stack of golden goodness, or it just might be fool's gold. You just never know. I'm actually bringing back some video memories here. Remember that format there? That was VHS compact. What a nightmare format. Whoever thought of that one up needs to basically be shot. Well, I suppose back in the day, it was the latest thing. And remember VHS tapes? If you watch the regular show, you probably would. There we go. Someone's recorded Shrek there. And the classic Sound of Music. I'm so lonely all by myself, microwave. Okay, this is a very large microwave oven. It's a Sharp carousel. It hasn't been opened up. Electrical cable is still on it. Surprise, surprise, it's a surprise to me. I tell you, let's see if we can find the info about this one. On the back is just a generic warning. I don't think there's anything underneath this microwave. Boy, it's a heavy one. Got some dust in the vents there. I think it's had a fair bit of use. Sometimes looking at the panel here sort of tells you how old or young it is. It's actually a convection oven as well, so I did a bit of both. Love pushing that button, don't you? Yeah, and inside there, well, when the exposure gets done right, it looks like that. And maybe inside the door jamb there is some info we need to see. Well, take a look at that there. It's got water and yuckies dripping on me. Yeah, can you see it jumping out of you? I can see made in Thailand, which is a bit different. So that's sort of saying to me it might be a bit of an older machine. Yes, it's often they're impossible to work out how old or young something is. I wonder if that's done on purpose. Well, I quite often see things like that, which are fish tanks out in the rubbish piles. It's been a few of them this time around. But this toy here caught my eye. I think it's an earlier Fisher-Price toy. It's actually like a car boat vessel thing. You know what I'm talking about, boys and girls. I can't think of the word right now. I like this. There's something about it that caught my eye. I was actually driving by and I saw it, and I've got a feeling it's a bit of an older style Fisher-Price toy. It just has that look to it. I like that, but what also caught my eye was this kettle here. It is a homemaker brand kettle. I've already looked underneath. How old do you think this one is here? Okay, it's 2016 when I'm making this video. Let's take a look and see if we can work out the date under there. Okay, homemaker, cheap and cheerful. There's the info there. What's that date code? 43/13. What does it mean? Does that say to us, buy cheap, buy twice? There is a bit of a saying, and I thought that the things you use every day, you don't buy the cheap things. I sort of learnt that with a bit of wisdom as I got older. I didn't do it when I was younger. But for all I know, that kettle there may have been used 10 times a day for many, many years. You just don't know, do we? So we can't be too harsh. But the thing that did catch my eye and I really like is that Fisher-Price toy there. Okay, it's another pile of rubbish, and that down there is a microwave, and it looks like that someone has got into this one. In fact, it looks like it's in pretty trashed condition. I wonder what brand this one is. Okay, it's a Sharp carousel sensor. Sometimes if you look at that section there, it'll reveal to you the era of this one. See if I can open the door here. They're getting bitten by a spider. And that there is info. I'll have to flip the video around because I'm shooting upside down. It looks like this one's made in Thailand. Yeah, as for how old this is, I don't know. It doesn't look that rusted inside, and of course I never know how much use it's got. But microwaves are very common on the rubbish piles. Well, children's playground equipment, the plastic stuff, you so often see there's my ominous shadow as well. But I love this one here, bit of street art there. Make love, not war. Well, that there is a bit of roofing or fencing or something, but right next to it is a little microwave oven. How cute. There's a warning about not getting into these. This one hasn't been broken into. It's still got its electrical cable, but I'm not that sure on the brand of this one. Sorry for that dodgy exposure work there. It seems to be one of those no-name microwaves. Just looking on the back here, I think it's had a bit of use. I usually can tell because there's dust in here which is collected around the grill. Okay, and then this here may reveal something to us. Oh yes, up there's a date. It says 03-2008. So going by my very poor calculations, it makes this microwave oven basically 8 years old. Just I think it's a little cheapy generic one. Okay, but then again, we don't know how much use this has had and really what went wrong with it. Sometimes if you look inside here, and I get the adjustments done correctly, you might get a bit of a taste, no pun intended, for how it's been used. Curious, isn't it? Well, if you weren't wealthy enough or fancy enough to buy a little Tyke's car, you could buy something that was a little bit generic like this one. This one just says today's kids on the side, and I think what I've learned by looking over these toys is just go and pay the bit extra and get a little Tyke's one. The other ones don't seem to have the charm and design niceness that I see in little Tyke's. Mind you, this one's got a flip top lid. Look at that there for easy egress and ingress, if that's a word, probably not. We'll take a look at the controls here, as if we're doing a car review, toy car review. Remembering that these styles of cars are the most sold cars in the world. The most sold car, I think the real car, is the Toyota Corolla. It says supercar on there, and it does look like it had a fair bit of play just by going and looking at the scuff marks here and the wear and tear of it. But the main damage to this little car is sun damage, and that's what you often see with these styles of toys. And right next to the supercar is just a little claw toy. Oh, I love these. My children love them as well. But this one is, well, it's seen better days. That's why it's on the rubbish pile. Oh my goodness me. Is that what I think it is? What do you think from here? Is that a Dyson or is it something else? If that's a Dyson, I have not got one like that. I've got one similar to it, but I don't think I've got one of that shape. Is this going to be another miraculous Dyson pickup? Have you made your gamble there yet? I think I can see the word I want to see. Oh yeah! It's a Dyson! Okay, I'm just trying to get my head around exactly what model number I've got here. All I know is that this is one which is probably, well, it's got the cyclones there, so we're looking at probably something mid-era, if that makes any sense. It's got the filter in the bottom there. A lot of this stuff is now disposed of in their design changes, so constantly changing and making vacuum cleaners which are much more awesome. I can see here some probably redback action going on there. I'll be a little bit dubious about touching this one. I'll just find out whether there, usually there's like a model number on these. Electrical cable has gone. Let me flip it over. Ooh, could be redbacks everywhere. Okay, I think up there it says Dyson DC, is it 08 Origin? Geez, I'm happy I'm right there. If I'm wrong, I'm very sorry. I know the audience will correct me. Serial number there, and I think that is a date. Is that 02 there? Okay, 2002. If that is, that's quite some time ago. We had one of the biggest rain events recently, one of those once in 50 year or 100 year storms come through, and I think this vacuum cleaner may have been out in it, because if I do this, you'll see like a whole flood of water going in there. I think the chances of getting this thing up and running again would be fairly minimal, I'd say. DC08. Yeah, so I'm pretty sure they numbered their stuff, like the bigger the numbers, the later the version. So this is one of the earlier versions. I'll just see if I can get that open there. I don't know if I can. I'm worried there's redbacks around in this thing, because it's the sort of thing that I think's been left outside for a bit and the spiders have taken over. Yeah, I wonder if the people who had this bought another Dyson after this one. Okay, look at that there. That's not that dissimilar to my, is it DC38? That sort of style, and that up there. It's sort of when they got their clump together. I think DC07 was the first to use the multiple radial cyclonic blah blah. I can't use the right tech terms because I haven't got a book in front of me at the moment. And this is the dust collection area, which is probably Spider Zone. Yes, I think from the DC07 onwards, there was rapid improvement in these vacuum cleaners. Starting to sound like an ad, but I am a Dyson fanboy, and I do get excited when I see these on the side of the road because you rarely ever see Dysons on the side of the road. That's what they called it when they clumped those cyclones together, Radix cyclone technology. That's that there. Yeah, so it served a good life. Got a funny feeling 2002 would be about the era of this. I'll probably be stood corrected if I'm totally wrong. I haven't got the Wikipedia in front of me to tell me. I'll probably leave this one here. I think it's too far gone. I like to have Dysons which are still runners in my collection. But nevertheless, quite exciting when I see one of those on the pickups. More rubbish. If you're wondering, where are the barbecues? Don't worry, ladies and gentlemen, boys and girls, they are still very prolific, but I'm just not featuring them that much in this video. And as always, you look inside here, it's a disaster zone. And there's another barbecue just up the road there. Oh yes, the old Jumbuck barbecue. Oh, how often have I seen these on the rubbish pile? And this one doesn't look that used, but who knows how old this one is. Let's see if there's like a little plate. I think there's something in there I can read. So there's that stamp there, looking very carefully at it. I've got a serial number there. It's a little bit hard to work out what's what there. It says date of manufacture. What does that scribble there say? I can't, to be honest, I can't make any sense out of that. I just hope that's not 2014 .3. Is it .19? What does that mean? Is that like reverse? Is that the 19th of the 3rd, 2014? Let's hope not. It's 2016. If it's 2014, it means this unit's only 2 years old. And there's also a very unusual bug here. I've never seen anything like that. Ooh, it looks nasty, doesn't it? Actually, that looks like a wasp, if you ask me. I reckon that's a wasp. I'll get my hand in there. It's only a little juvenile one. I've got a lot of time for wasps. That is, if it is a wasp. It's moving like a wasp as well. Yeah, good boys, wasps. They kill spiders. Yeah, this barbecue, it doesn't look too old. Just jump onto Google and read what they talk about Jumbuck barbecues. I have done that and I've had a bit of a revelation. Yeah, looking in here often tells a bit more of a story if I get the exposure correct. Yeah, once again, I don't know how much this has been used. Who knows, it may have been used every day for 2 years. It may have been used once a month, you know, over 2 years. You just never know. I think the safest thing to do is basically ask my audience if you've had a Jumbuck barbecue, the sort of thing you find at Bunnings in Australia, and sometimes you see them at great special prices. Is it a case of buyer beware? Another glorious pile of rubbish, but there is another one of those steam mops, the Kenwood steam mop. Now I'm pretty sure this is the second one of those I've seen in this video. I'm not playing games, this is a totally different part of the suburb. Is that telling us something about these steam mops? I wonder. Well, some things surprise you and other things don't. I'm not at all surprised about seeing what's on the side of the road here. Very, very common to see office chairs. You're probably wondering, oh, we haven't seen too many office chairs. Believe me, they are everywhere. And there is a very, very different... Oh, it's a Volta. That's our second Volta for... Sorry for the shadow there. That's our second Volta for this video. And it says... It works! Well, this Volta here, the other one was made in England. This one says made in Australia. To me, it's a bit of an older style, but I might be wrong. It says quality something up there. And it says ESP extra suction power. It's got this bit here. I don't know whether that comes off or it's a rocker switch, but I think that's where you get your extra suction power there. Just ramp it right up. Well, there's two suction heads with this. This one says made in France. That's a bit strange, isn't it? Maybe it's an add-on one. I don't know. Maybe it's an original one. This one is an original one because it says Volta. And like I always say, you often get a bit of a gauge of how much work a machine's done when you look at these parts here. What do you reckon? A bit grubby in there, isn't it? No, I think these have had a fair bit of work. Maybe that's why they're in rubbish, but mind you, it does still work. And what I have noticed is that this feels like good quality, like you feel with the better brands, without saying Miele and Dyson, all those brand names, but that feels like a good hose. I always like having a sneak peek inside these machines. It's just me, it's very old-fashioned, isn't it? Yeah, the old bag, that's what Dyson did away with. I think the whole, vacuum industry has changed a lot since Mr. Dyson had his way. I better put it back to correctly in case someone needs this one. There's the info tag of this one. I mean, just to see made in Australia, shock horror. Rarely ever do I see that these days. I don't know, is there a date there? Maybe you guys can point out a date, I can't. Maybe at the end of the product number 04. Would that be 2004? That feels about right for the look of this machine. The other way I gauge how much these machines have been used is just by the scuff marks on these and how much little wheels look like they've been used and scuffed. Yeah, I think it's had a good life, and hey, it's still a goer. Gotta hate them copper thieves. They've made something that works into something that doesn't. Oh, look in there, a nice mixed jumble of toys. I dare say they've had their good play day. At a glance, I can't see anything that's really, worth getting worried about. There's a Tonka truck, but it's a plastic fantastic. Oh my goodness me, look at this beast. This thing is huge. It's actually a pedal powered, well, what would you call it? A front end loader, bulldozer thing. There's no steering wheel. There's also this very, very little and very awesome. I'll get my hand in here, start to get the scale of this thing. There is that thing there. Okay, it's a forklift truck. It's quite nice, that. Never seen that before. I don't know what brand it is. I'm just looking over. I can't. Made in China. Not surprised. But nevertheless, this other thing here, which is really big and great big controls on it, would have been totally awesome in its day. Mind you, like all the big toys like that, it's heavily sun affected and it's had its play. But look at that forklift again. I think it was remote controlled, going by that thing on top there. And just going by the way the wheels work on it. Yeah. I wonder if you know about that one. I don't know, it's just something that caught my eye. And it looks cool, and little remote control forklift truck. I mean, we all want one, don't we? Another royal pile of rubbish there. A bit of a cooktop there. Some old bookshelf of some sorts. Bit of a trampoline thing. I bet trampolines don't last very long these days. Oh my goodness me! It's a Dyson. I cannot believe this. I think, oh beauty, this is the second one of these. I think it's a DC07. I think, and oh yes! 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 Oh, this is a fantastic find. I think it was a DC08. The other one was in this video, DC07. This is when they got really good. Dyson company. It's got like a speckled colour on this one. There is the dust collection area there. Dyson were the first people to do transparent dust collection areas. That was one of their revolutionary ideas, but their most revolutionary idea was the cyclones here that really sort out collecting dust. This one's missing its electrical cable. That's very common because the copper thieves love to get that. It looks like it's in pretty good nick. In fact, it looks like it's in excellent condition. It's in better condition than my other DC07. Let me just find out where the serial number blah blah thing is. Okay, it's underneath there, but just looking at underneath, wow, a bit of scuffing and whatever else, but it looks in pretty good nick. There's the all-important info there, and I think that's 01, that'd be 2001 for this model here. If I'm wrong, there'll be a title up or some insert in the video. Pretty sure it's 2001. Wow, this is a spectacular find. The brush area there looks in good condition. I will get this one because even if it doesn't work, it's good spare parts for my other DC07. And I think the DC07 is a very important one to have if I'm a Dyson collector, because this is when they became really good. This is when Dyson really started to do stuff that was so different to other vacuum cleaner manufacturers. You know, I can't believe it. I cannot believe it. It's the first time I've seen like a double Dyson act going on when I've done these studies of the rubbish piles. Amazing find. I absolutely love it. Okay, yet another study of the rubbish piles is done. We're starting to build a profile about certain brands, aren't we? And especially certain countries where things are made. It was really nice to get those two Dysons. The DC08, that little smaller one I left on the side of the road, was too washed out by water, but the DC07, that stand-up one, was in spectacular condition. That's a real keeper for me. Microwave ovens. What did we learn by looking at all those microwave ovens that we saw? I think we learnt the most things by looking at my mum's one, which I actually ended up working out, it's lasted half my lifetime. Like I keep saying, where is stuff like that these days? Made in Japan. It's funny, when I grew up, our house was full of things from made in England, made in the USA, made in Japan. But really, since the sort of mid-90s and onwards, all I see is made in India, made in China, made in Whoop Whoopville. Okay, I don't see those core countries like I used to. Is this a good or a bad thing for us? Are we just happy buying cheap and cheerful all the time and expecting to say these days, oh, it lasted 4 or 5 years, that's a good time? It was funny, I was with a group of men the other day at the school athletics carnival, and I heard one of them say, wow, I got something with a 2-year warranty. That's 1 year better than a 1 year warranty. And it's the sort of sad indictment of the way that we've sort of lapsed into this happiness of having things that only last a couple of years. Why will this continue on? We've got to shake ourselves out of this. We've got to get into stuff that's quality. Like Mum's old microwave. I've probably ranted on far too long in this video. I better leave it here. As always, thanks for watching and bye for now. And there's a bit of a view over my shoulder here that we might take a bit of a quick look at, because it'd be a bit of a waste not to see it. Bye. Well, if you're into sandflies, that's sandfly heaven down there. Most people aren't. And if I go around the other side here, with the exposure going cranky on us, we'll start to see possibly another little beautiful area. There's actually a bit of a lookout there. I don't know if I've ever showed you this part of where I live. There we go, we're getting a full guided tour now. Got to do something fancy up the end of these trashy videos. That explains what the view is, and if I pan around nice and slow, maybe we'll get to appreciate the view, maybe not. All I know is that down there's a whole bunch of Australian wilderness, and there'd be snakes and spiders and drop bears and loop things, and oh, it's just also scary. And as I've often said, Australia's not for everyone.